the next thought is you must give birth to the idea that you want to learn what unity and oneness can teach. You must give birth to the idea that you want to learn what unity and oneness can teach. And unity and oneness teachings will then come to you from the source within you, which you call God. In other words, I am going to be sincere about the idea that I want to learn in unity and in oneness. I want to learn through unity. I have to give birth to that idea. I want to learn through unity. And once you make the decision to learn through unity, then the universe will send you, God will send you lesson after lesson after lesson that shows you are joined and you are unified. But it comes from my desire to have that belief. So I'm going to state tonight for myself that I'm ready to learn through unity, I'm willing to learn through oneness, and I'm willing to learn through peace. How can I learn through unity, oneness, and peace is the question I should ask the universe. Spirit, how can I learn through unity, oneness, and peace now? I've learned through pain and suffering, broken into by periods in which they seem to be gone and I have a good time. Now I'm ready to learn through total unity and oneness. How can I learn through total unity and oneness? So the healing thought is, I desire to learn unity and oneness. I desire to learn unity and oneness. I desire to learn unity and oneness. I desire to learn through unity and oneness.
Is there a page number you're on?
It's on page 165.
Thank you.
In the Course of Love book. So, we're only seeing through love or fear. Love is willingness, fear is resistance. Love is willingness, fear is resistance. Love is willingness, fear is resistance. Whenever you feel resistance, you're in fear. When you feel willingness, you're in love. Now, if I'm a person who sees through fear, then I'm going to see a world of fear. So if the person who's seeing through love tells me that love exists, I'm going to tell them they're insane because I look through fear and my world is reflecting my fears back to me. And there's actually not any evidence that all that love that you're talking about is out there. But I don't realize it's because I'm looking through the eyes of fear. So I'm looking at a fearful world. So it doesn't mean the loving, cool world doesn't exist just because you don't see it. It doesn't mean something doesn't exist just because you don't see it. It's just that you only see what you believe. Yeah. And then you join with other people who see the same way you do, and we call that a society. Yeah. then all of a sudden you believe it must be true because now you have all these other witnesses that agree with you, but they're just people in fear just like you are. And so you all agreeing on the fearful sights that fearful people see. But people who are coming from a loving, peaceful part of their mind, they're seeing a world that is full of hope and safety and joy and abundance. And those who are in the fearful world don't even think they exist.
So what happens when that side tries to connect with the other side?
Catastrophe. Because the fearful person is terrified of the loving person. The loving person brings up a ton of suspicion and fear in the fearful person. I know I'm a loving person. And I know I only have the goal of support and helping people. But a person who's afraid and doesn't know me, they'll walk in the door, and every loving thing they would hear me say, they would feel like I was deceiving, running a game. Right. You must not be real. You see what I'm saying? It's a cult. Right. The fearful person, when they're around loving people, they don't even believe it's possible for you to be that authentic. So they just think you're a liar. Yeah. Because they don't see that in their own world. That's why we have what's called the Holy Spirit, which is the part of us that's aware of the love, but also is aware that we think there's fear. And then it's the part of us that takes us from the fearful state of mind to the loving state of mind. So the Holy Spirit is really the bridge between the loving part of our mind and the fearful part of our mind. And we're not the ones who can take us from the loving part of us, from the fearful part of us to the loving part of us. It's our Holy Spirit self, which is in us. I'll say that again. You can't take yourself to unconditional, infinite love because you're the one who believes in fear, broken into by periods in which it seems like you feel okay. I'm going to keep saying it because people will say, well, I'm not afraid. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Okay, you just got some forms of fear you like,
Yeah.
some forms of fear you don't like, and if I wasn't afraid, I would trust everyone and everything. If you substitute the word trust for love, you have a reality check really quick. Trust and love are the same thing. So if you say you love everyone, you're saying I trust everyone. If you say you love me, you're saying you completely trust me. See, you use other words. Like if I say I love you, I'm saying I absolutely free you. Then I get another perspective of what love means. Because I can say I love you, but what the heck am I saying? Am I saying I trust you completely? Am I saying I free you completely? Am I saying that I'm not putting my scripts on you completely? Am I saying I let you be completely? Because that's what I'm saying if I say I really love you. But our definition, the fearful person's definition of love is you will remain under my control in ways that does not bring fear to me.
Right.
And if you will stay under my control in the way that doesn't bring fear to me, you love me. So it's best for to me, it's best for two fearful people to be in a relationship together because they both equally want the limitations and restrictions that they both need to feel okay. And as long as both of them agree on it, that's fine. If I only want to be in this living room and I meet up somebody who only wants to be in this living room too, and we both want that limitation for ourselves, we're gonna get along just fine. But if I want a limitation and you don't want that limitation, we are going to clash. So it's always best to form intimate relationships with people who want to keep the agreements that you make in the relationship because you both want the same agreements. But guess what? A fearful person who doesn't really love themselves, well, they're not going to love themselves enough to make a same choice like that.
Right.
Because if they're fearful and in conflict and don't think they deserve love, they wouldn't dare join with somebody who would agree with them and do it the way they would love it, because then they wouldn't have any conflict or fear. So what does that mean? It means I'm going to be the person who needs lots of boundaries in a relationship, and I'm going to fall for the one person who wants none. Guaranteed conflict.
Sure. Yep.
Guaranteed conflict. But if I say I'm a person, and I get, here's a classic example that most people can relate to. I'm a monogamous person. Okay. Well, suppose you met somebody and they go, I'm a monogamous person too, and we both want to be together in a monogamous relationship that we both want. Tell me the conflict that they're going to have about that issue.
None.
None. Why?
Because they agree.
Because they agree and they both want it. So why are there so many conflicts in relationships with people who say that they want that? They both don't.
They don't. They lie to themselves.
It's not just one of them don't.
Right.
That's it.
It's a lie.
So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to force you to want to be that way. I'm going to make you feel so guilty that you are that way. Oh, man, hold it. I'm going to scare you with the fear of loss to the point that you'll act out what I need.
Got it.
Right. Where if I really felt good about that and I felt innocent about that desire and I felt like that desire was okay, I would draw to me a person who actually felt that way, or the relationship I'm in would transform. One or two things would happen. Either the relationship I'm in would change, or I would draw someone to me that wanted that. If I really do, and I really believe I deserve it, and I don't feel guilty about it, and I think that's okay. Because it is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you're monogamous or not. It's all made up stuff anyway. It's just important that you be true to what's true for you and be honest with what it is you think you need. But and don't expect everybody else to live by your belief system, and don't judge everybody who doesn't do it that way. Most people who are monogamous, they wear it like a badge of honor that is like totally condemning everybody who doesn't do it that way.
Exactly.
You know, I know how to do relationship right because I'm monogamous, but if you are polyamorous or if you're open, well then you just don't know how to commit. No, I just have another way that I express love. I have another way I do relationships. It's not any better or worse than your way, but we gotta darn sure make sure we don't date. And then that's how you and I have peace together. We don't do it. It's not hard to have peace. The only thing you have to do to have peace is join with someone who shares your idea equally. That's it. It's so funny to me how we make it sound like it's so freaking complicated. It's not. I know what I want, and I'm gonna join with somebody who wants the same thing I do.
Right.
Peace. But if I feel guilty, I'm not gonna do it. If I feel unworthy, so I have to ask for a different experience, right? So that I can change my belief system.